Hello and welcome to Tommy Talks TV. I have one singular goal with this show, and that is to help you make smarter decisions so that you can have better relationships. I'd like to start, as usual, by saying a very big thank you. Thank you for all your likes and your shares and your comments on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube. I really, really appreciate you because you're helping us spread the message further faster. So thank you very much indeed. Now, today I'm going to be taking another one of your questions, and it goes like this. I am a 29-year-old woman and very single. I'm very conscious of building a godly relationship with a man who has his ways aligned with God's word. I met someone last year and he's God-fearing. We share a lot in common and we aspire for the same things in life. I am in love with him, and because he is the kind of man I prayed for, he's a friend and he's a lover all in one. I really desire to have a relationship with him. However, we are just friends, and I'm concerned because he seems not to be ready to settle down, and he tells me that a lot. He's keeping his heart open, and he says that when he has the money, he will pick someone whom he wants to marry. So my questions are these. Should I stay close in this relationship or look for someone else? What do you think are my chances, and what can I do to help move the relationship forward? I don't want to be seen as desperate. Now, this is a question that I get quite a bit in, lots of different formats. So I really want to take my time to answer this question today. Firstly, I want to commend you for your perspective on building a godly relationship, because I realize that one of the mistakes that people often make is to compromise their values because they want a change of status, and eventually they find out that it's not worth the pain. So you have committed to doing things God's way, and I really, really believe that that is the wisest approach to life if you want peace of mind, because ultimately what you compromise to gain, you will eventually lose. So, top marks for you for that. Now, regarding this man with whom you have formed a relationship, it's great to see, that you have a relationship with him, and he's a real friend with who you share similar values, and this would seem to be the ideal kind of person to get married to. However, you have also been honest enough to acknowledge that the relationship is no more than a friendship at the moment. So if a man is consistently telling you that he is not yet ready to choose a spouse, then it is safe to assume that he is not in pursuit of you at the moment. He only sees you as a friend. I know this can be, sometimes a bit painful to accept, but acknowledging that fact is really important for good decision making. So, are there things that you can do to move the relationship forward? Well, yes and no. I would say yes in the sense that you can continue to make yourself a good friend and a safe space where he can share his dreams and his aspirations. I would say yes because, a man is most likely to pursue a woman when he feels that he has a chance for success. So you should continue to be welcoming in your approach, which is what has helped you build, a good relationship with him up till now. Be kind, respectful. Don't be afraid to verbalize how valuable he is as a person. However, I would suggest that you forget about articulating your romantic feelings for him, because, that's more about you. And at the end of the day, it would be off-putting to him. So essentially what that does is that it puts pressure on the man to satisfy your romantic aspirations by committing, and that can make you unattractive to him because it just complicates his decision making process. So instead, what I would suggest is that you lean into what you have noticed about him that makes him special as an individual and verbalize that. Don't flatter him with fake compliments, but notice and communicate his value, what he has done well, without any agenda. Do that out of a genuine heart, not because you're trying to engineer a response from him. And it's important that you remember that you're dealing with a man here. You're not dealing with a woman. Men respond more to value and respect rather than desperate feelings of, romantic attraction or I really need you, that kind of thing. He will respond more to respect that is flowing from your direction rather than I desperately need you in my life. So the question he will be evaluating in his mind is, how do you make me feel about myself? Do you make me feel like a capable, respectable man, someone that you can be proud of? If he feels 10 feet tall when he leaves your presence, then he's more likely to want to return. And then on the other hand, I will say no, that you as an individual cannot move the relationship forward on your own. You see, because for a relationship to be right, it must be right for both people. And that's really, really important to note. A relationship is not supposed to be one sided. So it's not just about you fulfilling your goal of being a godly wife, but it's also about him and whether he's in a place and a space in his life where he feels, that he's ready for that commitment and, given everything else that is happening in his life, he's got to feel that this is the right thing for him. And it's also about whether he sees you as the one that he needs in his life. I'm sure you're a great person, but he needs to see you as being the one he needs in his life. He's a free individual, and he needs to be able to make decisions that he feels are best for his life as he is led by God. So, the reality is this: the next move is his, not yours. The big mistake that a lot of women make in this kind of situation is that they enter into pursuit mode. So they feel, well, if I can just get him to notice me or to fall in love with me, then everything will be perfect. So they start to bombard the man with signals to indicate that they're available and that they're interested, and they're constantly anxious about, did he call, did he text, did he check up on me, that sort of thing. They're trying to figure out what's going on in his mind, and this tends to backfire, because if it's overdone, it ends up sabotaging the relationship, because a man is designed by God for pursuit, and he is also built for leadership in the home. So when you start to pursue him, he no longer feels like he's in control of the direction of the relationship, and he would therefore end up doing one of two things. On the one hand, he may become passive and just let you drive the relationship, and that's not what you want, because if you find yourself in that situation, then, if you manage to shepherd him to the altar, you have set yourself up to be the pursuer for the rest of your life in that relationship. So some women do this at the initial stage of the relationship, and then when after they get married, they start to complain because they want to switch roles now and be the one who is receiving, but then the man is not playing ball because he's used to being pursued. At that stage, it's too late, because the man has gotten used to being passive in the relationship, and if he's getting everything that he wants without putting in any effort to pursue you romantically, then he will probably continue to do just that, because that's been the nature of the relationship. On the other hand, a man may be put off, rather than just going with the flow and just deciding, okay, let me just be passive. A man may be put off by you attempting to take control of the relationship. So he may see that as a warning signal that you're trying to control his life, and his future, and that might sort of like send a signal in his mind that that's the kind of thing he can expect in the future with you. And therefore, he subconsciously begins to withdraw, even if he was previously interested, because masculine men are turned off by pushy women. So what's a woman to do in this kind of situation? Well, your role is simply this: show up as your best in this world, not just for him, but for yourself, because you are a valuable person, and you've got to value yourself and what you have to offer and showcase your value. This is what makes you an attractive person. And this is not just about appearance, although appearance is very important to men because they're very visual, but it's also about your personal qualities. It's about your inner wholeness. You've got to be your best regardless. Continue to develop yourself spiritually, mentally, emotionally, cultivate the fruit of the Spirit, be an enjoyable companion, practice being respectful in your approach to all people, not just this one person, so that you are in the best position to create a great marriage when it happens. Be interested is what I'm saying. Be interested, but don't be in pursuit. Relax. Just go with the flow and just see how the relationship shapes up, rather than thinking that there is something that you need to do to move it to the next level. At the moment, he hasn't given you any indication to suggest that he wants you in his life permanently. So you've got to keep your options open and don't allow yourself to become obsessed with the idea of being with him alone, because it just might well be that there's someone else better that God has out there for you. You may think that you're in love with him, but at this stage, it's only really attraction, and surrendering yourself to those feelings before he has reciprocated your feelings, is going to be unproductive for you, and it could lead you to getting hurt at the end of the day if he doesn't choose you. So attraction does not necessarily mean that he's definitely meant for you. It's an invitation for investigation, and that's how you need to view it. So my advice is this: just lean back, ask God to fulfill his perfect plan for your life, not your plan, but his perfect plan for your life, and just trust him as things unfold. Well, I hope this has helped you. If this has helped you, then please leave me a message on Facebook, on Instagram, or YouTube, or wherever it is you're watching. And if you've got a question you would like me to answer, then head on over to tommytalks.com/ask, and I'll answer your question next time. See you next time. Bye bye.